Some things feel so obviously true that questioning them seems like a waste of time. The grass is green. The sky is blue. You absolutely must build Koafu. Yesterday, I decided to question them anyway. Dragging out strategies everyone's written off for no reason other than what I can only describe as pure ego. And one of them isn't just viable. It's got me genuinely asking, wait, is this actually meta? What's going on, everyone? My name's Boit, and I am back with another review game where we're going to be introspective and all that other good stuff. I'm playing a raw game here against, this is Avely. This is a top 20 player without question. Very, very, very strong. He's playing some ISIS. This is a matchup that I think a lot of top players would probably say favors the ISIS if all things are played how you would expect. So why would I play a matchup that is not in my favor the way that people expect? It's time to throw some caution to the wind. We're playing some offbeat strategies. If you guys want to see, if you enjoy this specific game and this specific outlook on the game, I have a couple of other kind of cracker games from yesterday that I also wanted to show off. So if you do want to see them, make sure you leave a comment in the comment section below. There was a really cool game of China that I played where I didn't build any Kwafu. There was, or two games actually. There was, what else was there? There was a really cool game of Gaia where we went for a fast heroic favor strat for Stymphalian birds, which I expected to be absolute hot garbage after the flying unit nerfs, which obviously I'm walking in saying it's actually pretty good now, and a couple of other ones. So if there is some sort of a matchup, you can look up the I hope this works ALM stats account. And you can leave a comment as to what you might like to see there. Anyways, as you can see here, I am playing Ra and we are building monuments. So the whole idea here is there is a unit that I wrote off and I was just like, this unit just is not good. The only real use for this unit is cheese, and I don't like playing cheese strats, so I'm not going to ever try and build a strategy for it. I mean, I do like I do like cheese strats, but when I say cheese, I kind of mean just catching your opponent off guard, and that to me I don't really like. Well, like I like timing attacks. I like putting my opponent into positions where they're trying to get away with something and I punish it. That's my favorite way to play this game. Anyways, I wrote this got off as not a timing attack type thing with the unit. It was just a plain cheese. For example, using shifting sands with this unit and catching your opponent out of position, right? That's the only real way you could get value with this. And then even if you did do that, then your opponent could just defend it. What's that unit, you might ask? It's the scarab. It's the scarab. This unit is bonkers. And it comes with an amazing technology that the only reason you don't think it comes with a technology is because it's not underneath the portrait in the temple. The technology applies to the scarab. It's called Crimson Linen. So, what happens in the Egyptian mirror every single time, you might ask? Why did I say that pros would say that this strategy often goes in favor of ISIS? Well, the general strategy here is both players go 2TC. The Ra is a little bit slower than the Isis because the Isis has got prosperity, which gives her an extra somewhere between, depending on when you use it, somewhere between like 300 and 600 extra gold. Also gets Flood of the Nile, so it's an extra villager on top of it. And basically is just going to be slightly in front of the Ra most of the time, if not very much in front of the Ra. And then on top of that, they've got Ancestors Eclipse, or they've got the same sort of pushing power through Sobek. and it ends up just being a cavalry spam, and it doesn't even matter if you've got stronger cavalry riders as Ra, because it's just a timing thing. You're just behind on tempo. So I'm not going to go for a second town center here. I went for 3 monuments instead. Now this here is, in my opinion, equivalent to going for extra economy. It just falls off. So I basically say we're going to be somewhat equal on economy, and I'll actually even go into the post game at the end and show off what I mean by the total favor times that by 10. Give that to me as the player on 1 town center versus Avely, who is on 2 town centers. You can see he's got the 2 laborers coming over here. I mean, I'll show it off anyways. He's got 2 town centers. Anyways, that's my theory. That's what I'm saying. It's like, okay, if I can make monuments, I can punish someone going to TC so long as I get my value out of my favor, right? So we're gonna go segment, and I'm gonna be building scarabs. I also do have dwarven horseshoes, so my camel riders are a bit faster, and I have hummingbird's beak, which makes my infantry a little bit stronger. I don't plan on building infantry in this game, and at the moment I'm literally just trying to shut down vision. A sphinx does beat a priest, but a sphinx does not beat a priest and a sphinx, so must run away. Luckily, the ranged units, they don't do any ranged units don't do any snare, so you can kind of risk it all for the biscuit, so to speak, and you can kill off this obelisk. He's gonna run away with a relic. It's fine. Anyways, the plan here is I see these aurochs over onto this side, and I see this gold mine. Now, like I said, I am not interested in a cheese. I am more than happy to show my opponent that I'm about to attack them. But what I want to do, and I didn't really think about this in the game, but it sort of makes sense to do this. What I want to do is I want to prevent him from ever seeing the fact that I'm building I'm ever building scarabs. That's important. So we build the scarabs right away. They're 240 food, 18 favor, and crimson linen to come through. And of course, the Migdol comes up, and we're going to grab this position here. Now, our opponent's going for Nephthys, which is fine. I did a little bit of testing on the Scarab, and 1 Scarab beats 2 Petsukos with Crimson Linen. I'll say it again. 1 Scarab beats 2 Petsukos. Now, the Petsukos do have slightly more speed than the Scarab, but Eclipse means that the Scarab's got more speed. So I can charge in and I can kill them off even easier in that situation. So if it does end up being Sobek, and it does end up being a Petsukos defense, then you can just click Eclipse, and the Scarabs can charge in there, and they can kill off the Petsukos for you. So there's not a good defense for this outside of building priests, right? So all I want to do here is ensure that he does not see my scarabs until much later. Because, well, if he does see my scarabs, then he might build 15 priests. And while I still am somewhat confident here in the ability to walk across the map with my scarabs and kill him, at the very least kill a Migdol stronghold, I'm not confident in being able to win this game if I just throw away my scarabs for a Migdol stronghold, because that is everything, right? I don't want to do that. I want to make sure that I'm getting value out of them. And the scarabs don't get any lifesteal from attacking buildings. They only get lifesteal from attacking units. If you take a quick look at what they actually deal damage, it's 10.7 hack damage per second, which might not seem like a lot until you realize it's 2x versus myth units. That's 200 crush an attack, or 120, or 100 and... what was that, 132 crush damage? I'm going to show you a unit when we get there. I'm going to pause when we get there. I'm going to show you a unit that the Scarab absolutely dominates. Now, he still has not spotted my Scarabs. I've hidden those nicely. And we are just healing up, making sure nothing dies, making sure we're denying vision, and we're ready to go and attack him at the moment. You can see my resources are basically 0, and this is the whole idea of any type of timing attack. The only thing that I don't like here is that I've got 43 favor in the bank, which is on this monument. So maybe, just maybe, I did not need this monument for this strategy. I don't know. And you can see I'm ready to charge forward. And he doesn't. Now he sees the scarabs. And now he knows what's coming. He's got a couple of priests to come through. And the one thing here to be very much aware of is that Eclipse cancels Eclipse. I can't click Eclipse if he clicks Eclipse. So I've got to click it first. So if he did know that, he could have clicked his own Eclipse. And then I would have had to have waited. I would have had to run, basically. Anyways. Here we go. Time to put some pressure on and take a look at the damage this scarab. It's got 67. Take a look at the damage he's about to do. He just did 670 damage in one attack. 70. And that's through the armor of this guy. Take a look at this minion here. It's got 140 HP. You think it's going to survive? Two shot. Of course, we're under Eclipse, right? But the HP just coming straight back up. The Scarab's moving at 3.8 speed here. They can run from these units nicely. I'm trying to actually use the Scarabs on the Camel Riders here because they're going to get a whole bunch of lifesteal back. You can't kill these off with human units. They're just going to stay there and they're just going to keep on getting damaged. I lose one Scarab, unfortunately. But I still have 3 left. And the Migdol will be falling. Just make sure you kill off the Pharaoh. And I think the one thing I probably should have done here is healed my... probably should have healed my Scarabs with my priests. And of course, more Scarabs are going to be coming through. I'm still floating a ton of favor. And I'm not really sure what to use this favor on. So that's kind of like I'm floating 600 resources. And of course... Avely's also floating those resources. And I do manage to break through here. I kill everything off. And we're going to kill off his monument. And we're going to look to take out his town center. And after all is said and done, I'm only 5 villages behind here. So, yeah. I don't have to waste any time on useless siege towers. These units are... Look at the damage these scarabs... I don't have the other scarabs out. There's one at the back here, but... We can charge forward, get the heals up onto the Scarabs. That's going to help keep them alive a little bit as we can pressure over onto this side. We kill this, and we'll be off to the races here in this game. And you know what's funny? He's going to build Scorpion Men because he's got all this favor in the bank, and he wants to use that. You think that Scorpion Men beat Scarabs? Scarab is with Crimson Linen. Now, of course, it's very slow. It's very, very slow. Don't get me wrong. But the Scarab is maybe Egyptian's best anti-myth unit. Isn't that crazy to say out loud? Am I the only one thinking this? I'm sure there's going to be some other player out there who's like, I've been spamming Scarabs with Crimson Linen since launch, and I've just been winning every single game with them. What are you talking about, Boit? This is like obvious stuff. And I'm like, dude, nobody does this. This is insane. This unit is so good. All right. So we're going to make it move forward and look to put pressure. I see the Scorpion Men over here. I do have a Pharaoh, so I'm not super worried, and I can use that to take out the Scorpion Men. One of the big complaints about Egyptian at the moment is how bad their heroes are, but the Pharaoh is actually really, really good. The Pharaoh is fantastic. And of course, you don't really want to use the Pharaoh because you want to have him empowering your stuff. But if you are struggling with against a whole bunch of mass myth units, take your Pharaoh and use him in the fight. It's probably the right move. Anyways, in we go. And we're going to go after the Migdol again. A little bit of micro here. I still have the priest to heal up. And if I actually microed a little better, I probably would have taken out this Pharaoh faster, and we might have been able to keep all my Scarabs alive. But yeah, now we can take down the Migdol, and now we're actually in front on villager count. And we still have 2 more Scarabs coming through. 2 more Scarabs. These Scarabs just keep coming. So yeah, now this is maybe going to be... I need to think about whether or not this is going to be somewhat viable on 2 TCs. Because the one thing that often happens when I play against the best of the best is, and I mean like players like the Mr., Recon, Kavoth, Rappel, these guys, They're so good at scouting that even if I try and be sneaky, chances are they're going to spot what I'm trying to do. And if I charged across this map here and there were 20 priests waiting for me, that would have been shitty. I would have probably lost everything, right? I probably wouldn't have made it work. But I also would not have had to have attacked there. I could have maybe said, "Oh, you spammed out those priests. No worries. Let me look for some raids and do something else and use the scarabs a little bit later." Something like that, and maybe save the favor, maybe drop the town center. Lots of different options as as a response here. But the point that I'm making here is, if you find yourself in a map like this where all the gold mines are forward and you're playing Ra against ISIS, don't just take the second town center and then lose the game against the timing, the tempo that happens on this position for like against an Ancestors Eclipse mass unit thing. Don't do that. What a waste of time. Build some scarabs, get Crimson Linen, and or if for whatever reason it ends up going that way, go into Sphinx. Sphinx with Crimson Linen is also a really interesting idea because they actually do even more damage with their spin move against human units. So if it ends up being a whole bunch of camel riders running around the map and you have your Sphinx, well, all of a sudden you can just use your Sphinx to defend, click Eclipse, kill them all off. That's another option with Crimson Linen. And of course, the final one that I think a lot of people do know about is how good the Avenger is. Of course, one Avenger with Eclipse can beat an infinite amount of automatons, right? Because it just continues to lifesteal on them with its spin. But yeah, that's your bread and butter, which would have been the next move in this game for me. If this game had happened to go on, I would have probably gone into those Avengers. Anyways, if you guys like this game, if you like this sort of thought process, trying things out that people don't normally do, let me know what unit that people aren't using that you think is like either sleeper OP, sleeper viable, but it just has to not be. You just have to not have seen it very much, right? Like if you haven't seen a specific unit, or let me know, and I'll try and think about something that I can try that might end up finding a win. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a comment, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next one.